Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at another character from the first wave of vintage collection figures for 2025, Clone Trooper Lieutenant Teth from the Ahsoka series. Welcome back, gang. So this is where the fun begins. Here we have another action figure being added to the collection, and this time it's from the Ahsoka series, and it is the Clone Trooper Lieutenant from Teth, which is actually just a 501st Phase 1 Clone Trooper. Unfortunately, Hasbro had some discrepancy with the name pill, and after feedback was given, there was still just not enough time to update this during that production run. But regardless, this is a 501st Phase 1, and I'm definitely going to get a couple of these to display with this amazing new Anakin that we're getting, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we'll see an updated Padawan Tano, because this figure is awful. It still has swivel hips, the portrait is terrible, it basically looks like a Oompa Loompa in my opinion, and yeah, we need an updated Ahsoka. But really happy to have this figure, and with all that being said, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, or even become a channel member, and let's take a closer look at the packaging and figure. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Ahsoka logo prominently displayed up top, followed by Clone Trooper Lieutenant Teth on a mustard yellow name pill color, which just happens to be one of the largest name pills that we've seen in recent days. We have a fantastic image of the character taken directly from the show during those World Between Worlds flashback scenes, looking really good on Teth, and yeah, with the Kenner logo down below, this is a fantastic card back. Additionally, we have this nice Phase 1 Clone Trooper looking really good on a bubble. On the back, he is VC 348 in the line, Clone Trooper Lieutenant Teth, and we have a small description of the character, followed by the Vintage Collection logo, and additional images of the card and figure. So once again, we have another fantastic addition to our Ahsoka series lineup, and I really look forward to adding this one to my carded collection. And even though they weren't able to update the name pill to say Phase 1 Clone Trooper 501st, I still think this is going to make a great addition to the collection. Taking a look at the Clone Trooper Lieutenant, or should I say 501st Phase 1 Clone Trooper, out of the packaging, and taking a look at the new helmet, I think they have done a really nice job here, and I appreciate them upgrading this to the now hard plastic swappable head rather than the slip-on plastic helmets, which were used on the previous Phase 1 Clone Trooper release for Attack of the Clones, which actually I took out the head and then filled this with putty to like kind of fill that in, because I really hated how the chin of the Clone Trooper was sticking out of that helmet. I thought that looked really bad. And if you just look at the proportions here, I definitely like this new Clone Trooper mold much better. It definitely looks much more in scale, and it's not as, I don't know, wide, and it honestly looks like it has a bit more detail as well. So really good stuff there with that upgrade. The Clone Trooper Lieutenant comes with both of the standard clone rifles. It comes with the DC-15A, which is made of a much more rigid plastic, and the DC-15S, which is also made of a nice sturdy plastic. Moving on to the articulation, this is something many of us are very familiar with at this point, but if you're new to collecting, this Clone Trooper is one of the latest molds that we've gotten. It's pretty much near perfect and a huge breath of fresh air when it comes to our collections, especially when it comes to clones. It's got, those new style barbell hips, which are fantastic and will give you a lot of range of motion. It's got a swivel at the thigh, which is fantastic, a bend to the knee there, pretty much 90 degrees, and rocker ankles. So it will be able to do a lot of different stances and poses in your collection and just look like a Clone Trooper taking care of business on the battlefield. The upper body has some great articulation as well. You got a nice crunch there. It's got this soft plastic shoulder armor, which does not get in the way, which is fantastic. It's got hinges at the elbows and the wrists, and yeah, all in all, it is a fantastic addition to anyone's collection if you're a prequel trilogy fan or, just a fan of clones in general. Now, I really do like this new helmet. It's got some great articulation to it. You can really look down and pretty much up pretty well. So yeah, nice that we got this, hard plastic, swappable head versus, the slip-on plastic helmets. Now, of course, this is the first time we're getting one of these clones from the Phase 1 without, the clone head sculpt underneath, but I'm okay with that. I have plenty of those in my collection, and if I do want to take this helmet off and display it with a clone, that's not a problem. But yeah, taking a look at the blue markings here, which are the 501st markings, it's okay. It's kind of shiny in my opinion. I think the blue is pretty spot on, and if you bring in the other Phase 2 actual 501st Clone Trooper, you can see the difference is a little bit disappointing. I know they weren't trying to make this a 501st Clone Trooper, but it would have been nice, if maybe it was, and they kind of took down some of that shine. I don't know if that's something I'll try to customize myself or just live with, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The color's not far off, but at the same time, it could be a little bit better. Taking a look at the Clone Trooper Lieutenant compared to the previous release of the Lieutenant from the Attack of the Clones on the old, now outdated VC45 mold, you can see that these two color markings are definitely very, very different, and I don't think it's a Clone Trooper Lieutenant. It's definitely closer to this 501st Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and the only thing I wish they would have done a little differently is maybe take some of that gloss away. Too shiny in my opinion, and yeah, if it was a bit more matte, I think it would look really cool, and much more like this Phase 2 501st Clone Trooper, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. So once again, Hasbro delivers another release for the Vintage Collection utilizing the spectacular modern 375 Clone Trooper sculpt, but this time takes it to another level with a much needed upgrade for the helmet that has moved the Phase 1 Clone Trooper to a much more definitive level. By upgrading the Clone Trooper Lieutenant to a properly scaled hard plastic swappable helmet, the doors have been opened to a plethora of Clone Wars characters and legions that Hasbro can offer our collections. The figure sports all the modern articulation that the Grand Army of the Republic will need to combat any and all separatist droid invasions during the Battle of Teth and beyond. New style barbell hips, hinges galore, a torso crunch, and rocker ankles will allow the Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant to achieve a variety of action poses, and are simply a must-have for any fans of the Clone Wars or prequel trilogy. While this release offers a lot for Vintage Collection fans who want to army build this 501st Phase 1 Clone Trooper that was mislabeled as a Lieutenant, it also hinders the figure's shelf appeal by not calling it a 501st Trooper, as anything and everything 501st will sell in large numbers. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to our Vintage Collection shelf displays, the Clone Trooper Lieutenant Teth from the Ahsoka series. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.